Right, we are going live. Maybe this will be the night that YouTube will bless us. Maybe this will be the night. Maybe. Let us see. YouTube is saying it's going to work. Though I suppose, is it?
Hell yeah.
All right. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Titan's Table Magic the Gathering Edition. Tonight, we are going to be talking about, oh boy, just a lot of what Bad Boy Roy will call bullshit. That's that's what we're going to be talking. Yeah, see? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. That's a good way to describe it. We are going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons getting woker, unfortunately. I know most of us here enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, but unfortunately, Wizards of the Coast is just going all out with the woke, unfortunately. We are going to also be talking about Lisbeth Eden and how she was removed from the Magic the Gathering, what is it called, the Content Creation Partners Program. I believe that's what it's called. She was removed from...
Content program.
Yeah, the content program. And we're also going to talk about the future of game stores. We talk a lot about the future of game stores, but today there has been quite a large update for stores that, host Magic the Gathering events, which we are going to talk about. But before we get into the first topic, I just want to introduce you all to our hosts that are here tonight. We have Cinder Shadow Gaming. We have Asfera, aka Rob. We have Bad Boy Roy from Dark Titan Gaming. And we also have Grim Monolith. And of course, we have myself. I am always here. But welcome to everyone that is just stopping in. All right, how about we get started on our first topic? I believe that we wanted to start with the Wizards Play Network announcement that came out today. So I'm going to read Wizards of the Coast's official post because it is really quick. But basically, in-store play for Magic the Gathering, the in-store play suspension has been temporarily reinstated in the US and LATMA. This initially started because of COVID and all of the stores were closing down anyway, so Wizards of the Coast figured they'd put in place a suspension, but they have decided to indefinitely reinstate it. So it says, after reviewing feedback from Core Set 2021 pre-release, conferring with our retail advisory panel, and all above considering the safety of the community, we've made the difficult decision to place in-store play under suspension in the United States and Latin America. Remote play events remain available in EventLink, but any in-store events scheduled will be automatically canceled and removed from the store and event locator. And then it goes on to say the suspension is temporary but will last through Zendikar Rising pre-release, which is the, of course, next set to launch. And they also said that we'll update on a monthly basis starting in September. On the second Wednesday of every month, we will publish an update on whether we've decided to continue the suspension or lift it for the following month, and we will publish the update on this website even if we choose to take no action. Keep an eye on the weekly WPN update email for this announcement. I will link that article in chat for those of you who want to read it. But that is all that we know right now. They are indefinitely suspending in-store play. How did they say that? Suspension temporarily reinstated. That's slightly an odd way to put it.
Awesome wording.
Yeah, definitely awesome wording. Grim, what are your thoughts on this? This is brand new. They just announced it today. Whew.
Not brand new for me, right? I was saying this 2 months ago when they had announced the suspension to June 1st.
Right.
I was saying back then, I was talking to people on Facebook, people that have worked for Wizards, people that work for stores that are out in that area. A lot of people suspected that they were looking for any way they could to continue the suspensions for as long as they could.
Right.
A lot of people worried about basically the end of the WPN. And the WPN system sucks in itself, but I'm talking about organized play. I'm talking about prizes from Wizards, promos from Wizards, stuff like that. That they just didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
Right.
And I didn't think it was going to come this quick, but COVID-19 basically gave them a great opportunity to suspend events and to stop sending out I should say send out the least amount of prize support that they can.
Right.
Because I know that they're still sending out promos and they're still sending out prize booster boxes with the pre-releases, even though you're not allowed to have the pre-releases. Well,
Right.
you're not supposed to have pre-releases in the store.
Mm.
So I had said 2 months ago, the rumblings were, Wizards is going to do everything they can to suspend it for as long as they can. Lo and behold, come today, bang, suspended again, indefinitely this time. That word temporary. They're using that word to try and, keep people confused, keep people's anger down from what's going to happen. But this could end up being a much longer suspension than we think. And I think that organized play will come back. But at this point, I think when it comes back, they're going to change everything. And it's not going to be good for the stores. If you listen to that article from, I should say that posting from Wizards keeps talking about building online communities, hosting events through Arena and Magic the Gathering Online. It does say use cameras if you can, but we all know that most players are going to go towards Arena and Magic the Gathering Online, not really towards using cameras to play with cards. But everything sounds like, them saying that we're going to continue to try and innovate to come up with more ways to do organized play, but it all has to do with online. And online organized play is not how you keep these stores in business. These stores, no matter what WotC says, aren't going to make money off of Arena. They haven't come up with a system for that to happen. I doubt that they want to, or if they ever will. And that's kind of where we're at. I think it's really shitty. I know and understand that there are some areas that COVID-19 outbreaks are much higher than other areas, and it's true. And then there are other areas where COVID-19 outbreaks aren't that bad,
Right.
So maybe a more measured approach where WotC says instead, we're going to go by what your state and local regulations are. We will allow organized play in stores that are allowed to have organized play. Like here in Massachusetts, stores were running events for the last couple weeks. But WotC won't do it. They're never going to do it. They're never going to say, go by your local, whatever your local laws are, because they want to control the whole system, and they want to they want to control the whole system. They want to move it all online. So of course they're never going to give stores the opportunity to follow local laws. And I just think that would be better. If your location, if the town you're in, if the state you're in says you can't have anyone in the store for an extended period of time, you can't run events, then you can't run events. But there are places you can, like in Massachusetts right now, you can run events. You can.
I know why. I have an idea. I know why. I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
All
right. Yeah. So, but even in Massachusetts, where you could have 12 to whatever, how many people, depending on the size of your store, you could have 12 to 50 people in your store, depending how big it is. They're saying no, you can't run events because they don't want anyone running events. They want the end of the organized play system. They want everything digital. That's what it comes down to, at least in my mind. And I was saying this 2 months ago. They're going to use this COVID-19 to destroy organized play. Not the paper game. The paper game will continue to sell. They will continue to sell it. But I'm talking about the organized system, the organized play system, and having to depend on sales through LGSs. And I'll leave my idea at that.
Fair enough. Asfaro, what are your thoughts on the situation? Obviously, because you and Grim were game store owners, I think that your inputs here are extremely important.
Wizards has been trying forever to kill the LGS and take everything to big box stores.
Yep.
By citing some concern, which I'm going to be very careful on how I word this as to not get the stream flagged and removed by YouTube, They have decided that in their authoritarian nature that they tend to be, that they know what's best for you rather than you or the Constitution knowing what's best for you. So their whole thing has been to take this just straight big box stores and online. And actually, everything they've done with the LGS has been to push more people to online. Think about your F&M prizes at your LGS. You get a booster pack.
Yes.
It has 3 promo cards in it. Well, it has 3 promo cards in it and a code for a free booster pack on Arena that you can claim 5 of. You know, you only have to play in your LGS for 5 events to get 5 of those codes or trade for them, and then you never have to go back. And then you just do that each new season when it kicks back up again.
Right.
So my thoughts on this are real simple. Wizards of the Coast is citing a concern based on the totalitarian nature of their state's governor, forcing their mandate on every other state and basically giving each store no rights to run their business. I think a certain store in New York got it right when they lost their WPN and said we don't want it back. And you know what? Run your own events in your store if your state says it's okay. Don't use their software. There's plenty of third-party software to use out there, and have a good time. Do what's best for your community and follow your local guidelines. Then your legality is off the hook. It's that simple. Wizards is afraid somehow there'll be some trickle up whatever coming at them from some law enforcement company somewhere in the country saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you opened this software."
Right.
And part of it is, I think deep down inside, they want everybody to be on the same foot nationwide for metrics, so it's easier for them just to reboot it and say, "Okay, we're unsuspending metrics, and now everybody's got a fair shot." But the truth is, that's not going to work. They should just say your metrics are your metrics, and it should only be based on the amount of time you were active.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on it? I remember Grim was saying something before, and you said you had thoughts on that, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
My thoughts were that they're literally... I think it was... So my thoughts were simple. It was that Wizards is trying to reset the metrics so that they can only flip one switch and everybody's metrics are all turned back on. So they don't have to cater it from place to place. But I really don't care. They can go through and say, okay, as a store, you send us a letter when your state says it's okay for you to reopen. We'll verify that your state is one of those states really quickly because they only have to track 50 pieces of information. Okay, cool. You're turned back on. And then your metrics are turned back on, and we unsuspend your metrics on a case-by-case basis. They're just being freaking lazy because they want 100% of the money or big box sales.
Right. Cinder, what are your thoughts on, Wizards of the Coast and their sneaky wording in this situation?
It's unfortunate that they're suspending play. It's not in Canada where I am.
Not yet in Canada where you are.
We follow suit within a week. We'll see it get canceled here within a week. I can guarantee it's only so far behind.
Yeah.
It sucks, but I'm also in a unique situation where I'm not going to the store because I have a health issue and compromised immune system. So by not going to, I'm still going to support the store, but I can't go play in the store right now.
Right.
So from the casual Magic player, it sucks. I would like to go out there and play, but I can't do it already.
Right.
So it's half dozen of this, half dozen of that. It sucks, but at the same time, I can understand it because of how things are getting increased and stuff like that. But we knew this was coming. We know this is going to be an ongoing issue with this off and on, and they need to figure out a way to open everything up and let people do what they need to do.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Bad boy Roy, give us a hot take here.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I'll just say that I think that like Rob said, if your city says it's okay to be open, then that's up to the customer's discretion whether or not they want to show up or not. So it ain't some keyboard warriors deal to sit there and call out a store to be like, oh, hey, look what they're doing. They're pieces of shit. Then just don't go.
Wow, adults using their own brains to do adult things at their own discretion?
What the hell
Never.
kind of concept is that? How else could the world continue to turn if we all up for our
I gotta say something here. Does that shirt give you an extra 10 lives?
Why,
Yeah.
yes, it
Is that the Konami code?
sure is. Hell yeah.
Oh, no.
I didn't even realize that was the Konami code.
Oh yeah, you already know, man.
Cinder's
You
trying to look at his nips. That's why he noticed and we didn't.
Do you want the little up and a little down?
Oh, no.
Quick,
Okay,
Cinder, recite
okay.
the Konami code. Up, right. I came from left, right. I
Up,
leave
up,
it
down, down,
right.
left, right, B, A, B, A, select start.
The old Contra, man.
Oh, that-
Gotta love the OG Contra, dude. I seen this baby in the store. I was like, well, hell yeah. This shirt fits the bill. Coming home with daddy. That's for damn sure.
Nice.
Wow.
I think we all kind of agree, right, about
Oh, yeah.
the way it should work by area, region. You know,
Yes.
wherever you live, state, city, province, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Should be done by your local, whatever your local laws is. And it's not like, even if you add up all of the states and all of the provinces in United States and Canada, it's not that many. They don't have to deal with that many pieces of paper. They just don't want to.
Right, and adults are adults. You know, if they feel they're not comfortable, they don't want to go, that's fine. You don't have to go, obviously. Like, I think that in this case, yeah, keep your store open if, you know, you can, obviously. And if people want to come in and buy product and play, they can. But if they don't feel comfortable, then you don't have to make anyone.
I did hear that store in New York had to actually declare that they were hosting a protest in order to run their event.
Yeah, tell what.
Yeah,
exactly
if you wanna-
happened quickly, I guess. Tell us what
Yeah,
happened with
we've got a
Fire
store. I'm not going to name them because
Why not?
We-
They
they're-
don't care.
They don't care.
Well, it's Fire and Ice, or Fire and Dice.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
play
it's
on
Fire
words
and
from the show. Why can't I think of it with all the dragons?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of
The
Thrones.
the show with the dragons as he shakes his hand like a child. Mommy, the dragons!
A store of fire and
Oh,
dice.
boy.
Yeah,
That's like,
Ooh,
this is what happens.
It's
when
one
you
of
get
these
old.
nights.
You just start forgetting things.
You're gonna cause a damn uproar, man.
next time I see a dragon in a video game, I'm gonna be like, the
I'll say
dragons!
right.
Damn dragons.
Yeah, anyway, they hosted an event, and I believe they had to actually declare it as a protest in order to host the event because of what's going on in New York and everything politically, and that's besides everything.
Right.
But then people started ragging on them on Facebook, and then they took
yeah,
it to
that.
Twitter and said, "You guys can't do this. Wizards of the Coast needs to shut you down." And it's like, you guys already took away their WPN status.
Right.
There's no you have no say in this anymore. If they
Right.
want to host these events and have people there be adults, then let them be adults.
Right.
How dare you be an adult?
Fuck.
And
Bro has
now
no
they're saying take away their rights to sell Wizards product because it's
Yeah.
Wizards product. I'm like, I don't think this is how this has worked. Where they don't have a WPN, you took it away. You have no right. This is the same thing that even Rudy has said. Try and take away my rights to buy your product, and I'll sue you into the freaking Stone Age.
Well, also the thing is that if they did that or they publicly came out and tried to do that, you know that many stores would be like, I will sell you product. I will give you product just because
Yeah.
of Wizards of the Coast giving the store the finger. You know that it would cause, like, I guess an uproar. I don't know how else to say it, but you know that it would cause a situation.
owners across the country would literally call them and say, I will not only sell it to you at cost, I'll freaking ship it to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what will happen.
I mean, I haven't had a chance to
Totally
take a trip out, but when I do, it's one of the first stores I'm going to visit up in that area.
Yeah. All right. Is there any last thoughts on, you know, the store situation and Wizards of the Coast and how they've been treating local game stores?
I hope
Just-
we're wrong. but I don't think we are.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
I
Bad boy
believe
boy.
Wizards cares about the LGS when Wizards of the Coast brings back actual rewards for the stores.
When do you think that Wizards of the Coast really stopped caring about local game stores?
Around probably 2016.
2015.
I'd say it's a little bit
yeah,
earlier
we're
than
about-
that.
It was around 2016
I-
because the amount of rewards that were coming into the store were actually playable and useful in like 2016. 2015, they slowly started petering off. They got rid of the player rewards. That's when we knew that the players were nothing more than dollar signs, and that the removal of the player reward program might have been the start of it, because then the LGSs stopped getting having incentive to run events because players didn't have incentive to play in as many stores as possible.
Right.
It's true.
Do we hear
Yeah.
anywhere where the Judge Academy is doing lately?
Oh God.
I know they got 4 new promos, but
I can tell you some
Good
stuff about
promos.
Judge Academy, how they're spamming my email, begging me to pay them $100 to recertify my L1.
Right.
Even though there's nothing to judge.
Right. But I mean, you'd
Well, I
still
just-
get the promos and whatnot, but
I think that's
your
the biggest-
subscription base for promos. Yeah.
I really hope that company purchased the Judge program from Wizards of the Coast purely to have all this happen. I really do, because karma is
Oh.
a mother.
Oh, did you all see? I guess it's the last thing on the events. Star City Games is starting to move all their events online now. They're starting to go to Arena.
Yep.
They're already doing their own version of the Open that Wizards did, and they're going to be doing them they're basically going to be doing lots and lots of online Open style events on Arena.
Right.
So it seems like they're basically moving everything to Arena.
I mean,
I
with
mean, they
with
are
COVID, it's
Wizards.
difficult too.
Well, they're moving the Pro Tour to Arena, and they're going to play Historic, which is kind of funny, seeing it's not actually a official
On
format.
actual paper format, yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cinder, that is crazy because it's not a paper format. It doesn't exist in paper.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the state of standard right now, right?
Yeah, it is. It's awful. I only play standard on Arena to get my dailies, but other than that, but I just
Alright.
thought it was interesting about you see Star City basically moving the opens to Arena, and
Yeah.
Star City has not said that the paper tournaments are done, but one can only wonder and think they're done.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, let us move into the next topic. I think that we want to move into the Elizabeth
good.
Eden
The
situation.
spicy topics.
Yes, this is a very
Yeah.
spicy topic. So I am going to read through her Twitter thread, which is it's kind of lengthy, but I'll read through it. Lisbeth Eden.
Tell
What?
everyone who she is.
Yes.
Oh, you can, oh, I'm
Lisbeth
sorry.
Eden
Yeah.
is a social media personality. I guess that's the best way to put it. She does have a Twitter. I will link it in chat in a moment, but she does 18 plus content. She has an OnlyFans. She has an 18 plus Patreon. She does very NSFW type of content on some of her social media platforms. And on her Twitch, she actually streams Magic the Gathering. She had rebranded her streams to be Magic the Gathering focused back in 2018, I believe she said. But anyway, she was part of the Wizards content creation program. And she had posted the other day on July 1st. Wizards of the Coast kicked me out of the content creator program because I apparently sexualized Magic the Gathering, and that's not allowed. Okay, so how about the artists who have posted the same things? It's cool because they are drawings. Very nice, y'all. Would just like to add, the only things I've done are make a fake Magic card that isn't real in any way, and posted a photo of myself with 2 Colossal Dreadmaw cards stuck in my top. It amazes me that I am consistently positive in the Magic the Gathering community, am significantly less vulgar and controversial than a lot of sponsored creators, but because there are photos of me with cleavage, I am not allowed to even be part of the creator program. And she did also share the screenshot of the email she received, and it said, Magic Creator Program violation and removal. Hello, Lisbeth. It has come to our attention that you have been distributing Magic content that is against our code of conduct, including photos featuring adult nudity and sexualized posing. This is a violation of your participation in the Magic Creator Program and Magic-sponsored events. As a result, you will be removed from the program in accordance with Section 3, and it says specifically under this code of conduct, Section 2 states, do not use, post, distribute, or link to obscene, pornographic, sexually explicit, graphically and gratuitously violent, derogatory, demeaning, malicious, defamatory, abusive, offensive, hateful, or discriminatory language or content. This includes masking language by using alternate characters / spelling / spacing to get around profanity filters or claims of profanity filter testing. I will post the thread because it does also share the photo of her that she believes got her removed from the program, which was, a kind of NSFW. It's not really a photo, and I will try to bring it up on screen if I can find it right here.
That Wizard, I just want to say that Wizard's disclaimer, we can sum it up to say, AKA,
Anything.
Don't say anything we don't want you to say or you're banned.
Right. Yeah, anything,
They
basically.
didn't need to write up. I can sum it up even simpler. How bad do you want to keep your stream going?
I am going to bring up really quickly, so our faces are going to be covered, the photo that people believe is why she was removed, but this is it. It says Woman of Magic. It's got an official Wizards of the Coast border, but I think the big problem was at the bottom right, it does say trademark Wizards of the Coast 2020. That wasn't blacked out when they made this proxy. Obviously, it's not real. She wasn't selling it or anything. She wasn't like marketing it at all. It was just something she posted on her social media.
And someone literally just took her picture and
Right.
put it on that.
Right.
That's all we did.
Well,
Make
they
this
also gave it a new effect, but right.
She's actually required legally to put the property of Wizards of the Coast on the bottom of it because of the framework, the mana symbols, and everything else. If she blacks that out, she.
Content says no.
If you actually go
Yeah,
look
that's,
deep, if you deep delve into their product, really deep into it, you will see that they say that you can't remove Wizards trademarks.
I would
But it
also like
says
to
not
point
to
out
use
that she did not even make the card, which is a very important thing to say. The proxy guy, he makes proxies. He was the one that actually designed it and made it for her, but because he's not affiliated with Wizards of the Coast at all, she was unfortunately the one who paid the price. So, Esfera, why don't you start with your thoughts?
Well, you know what Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this: Wizards of the Coast is from a very, very specific leftist ideology that specifically states women aren't women, but men are women if men say men are women. And I'm leaving it at that.
I mean, do you think that Wizards of the Coast should have removed her? I mean, obviously they
absolutely
can,
not.
it's in their rights, but do you think that she should have been removed? Do you think she should have gotten a warning first?
No, I don't. I think at the very least a warning for not following the policies. But the thing is, she didn't make it. Someone else did, and they're punishing her. So Wizards of the Coast is victim blaming a female for something a man did.
Well, she did post it on her social media, and she did
Yeah, she was
promote
proud of
it,
the fact
I
that
guess
someone
you
did
could
it for her.
say.
But it doesn't matter. Wizards of the Coast is victim blaming a female for something a man did. That is the narrative that they're always saying you should never do.
She did denounce it, though.
Right.
She doesn't have to denounce it. She doesn't have to approve it. She could be neutral on the topic. You can't have one set of rules and then arbitrarily either follow them or not follow them. And Wizards is all about arbitrary rules at this point. This is 100,000% reason why I refuse to get sealed product from their company anymore. I will buy the singles from the secondary market and support the secondary market. And I don't care if Wizards bans my DCI that I've had since I was, since I've had since like
What's a
1993. Exactly, that's the point. But I've had the same DCI number since Tempest Arena, earlier than that. I've had the same 6-digit DCI number, and you know what? Bring it, ban me. You can't hold me back anymore. You gave me the big giant FU when I was in the middle of a COVID-19 outbreak. So there's nothing they can do. The cuffs are off, man. Wizards of the Coast has two sets of rules. One set of rules for everybody who doesn't fit within their bubble, and another set of rules which ignores those sets of rules, everybody inside their bubble. That bubble is continuously shrinking, and they're constantly pushing people out of it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Grim, what do you think about this whole situation?
I don't think they should have banned her. So yes, she used so yes, it was a sexualized version of a Magic card by putting her picture on it. She didn't make it, but at the same time, she didn't denounce it. So and she did repost it. So they could have given her a warning and said, hey, that's got a Wizards logo on it. Don't do that. Because I'm pretty sure in the content policy, if you do make a proxy like that, you're not supposed to actually have the Wizards logo on it, because actually they don't want people making proxies.
Right.
But this is the case of an SJW. I just want to say that this content creator is very radically left. Even though she had NSFW stuff, she is a very SJW woke leaning person, and this is just the left eating the left more and more. I think that they should have just given her a warning and just moved on, and she could have taken it down, asked the proxy guy to make a different card. I don't know.
Right.
But that's kind of where it is. It's just they treated her very badly. And she is right that there are content creators that are far more crude than she is. I think that those content creators are great and they're funny, and they should not be punished for being that way either. They literally took down what is generally a tame content creator, except for her NSFW stuff. And all her NSFW stuff is behind NFSW walls. Let's be clear here. For the most part,
her Twitter does have pictures of her in like bikinis and a bit more NSFW. So, I guess it depends on how you say NSFW. If you mean fully nude, or if you mean.
But it's not porn. It's not.
Right.
I'm not going to call it porn. It's not porn. It's.
All right, so we'll get away from the victim blaming narrative and we'll go with the shaming. I thought they were anti-shaming anything.
Yeah.
Right, it's not very progressive of them to ban or remove someone from a creator program when they're supposed to be fighting for women's rights to be able to show off their bodies if they want.
Body positivity.
Yeah.
Like, where's the body positivity here? It's not. Progressive.
Oh, I know where that is right now. It has to do with her plus size not being there.
It's just yet again. It's like what I've said on other topics. They're just fucking cherry picking. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, I know
that's how
Cinder's
they
talked
work.
a lot about this. I'd like to hear what he has to
I'd
say.
love to hear Cinder's take on it.
Looking even more into it, I have a funny feeling.
Cinder's looking more into it, guys. He's doing some
that's why I
investigative
work
journalism here.
Yeah.
My wife, I just have to pay for this NSFW Patreon, so it's strictly investigative journalism. Strictly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On the books here. Come on now. I have a funny feeling Wizards of the Coast didn't have a choice but to remove it. And part of it is because the creator program goes through a third party now, and they report back. They report back to Wizards of the Coast, and it is also listed in their terms of service to not post something like this. And that is also tied in to Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube for all three under their terms of service. So it becomes a very gray area, and it could have been something as simple as, because it was reported to Wizards, that's why they turned around and said, you need to vacate the program. And I think it might have been on the streamer elements side. They escalated it to Wizards and said, hey, listen, we can't have this on our site, so you guys need to remove it from yours.
Right, possibly.
Right? That is a possibility.
Yeah, it definitely
Make
is.
that statement. And
Why?
they don't.
But they don't, because they're using them as a third party, and if Wizards throws them under the bus, then Streamer Elements will just end the contract with Wizards, right?
Right.
Honestly, she's much better off without the program, She's going to get
Yeah.
a lot more attention now that they've removed her from the program. The program, when it does come down to it, it's a bonus if you're doing the arena content and all this other stuff on top of all of it. But to go out of your way to make videos for the program and everything like that, it's just not, it doesn't pay it off very well.
Right.
I am in the program, and the few things I've gotten out of it is if I've won 5 games at a draft, they give me a code for an extra 1,000 gems.
Right.
Is that better than getting 5 free packs from a friend of yours?
The 5 free packs are probably a little bit better because they're 5 free
And
packs.
with 2 wild cards?
Yep, wild cards, everything like that. It's about the same, really. 1,000 gems, which is worth $5.
Right. So if you're already making the content, you know, it is something on top of
yeah.
just making the content, but I mean, it's not like, I don't think that anyone should be, I don't know, I guess I've always kind of viewed it as, don't be upset that you're not part of it, because it's
Yeah.
not like it's promoting your content constantly. It's not like you're, you know, YouTube partner. It's not like the same thing at all. You're literally just sometimes getting codes.
I just want to mention something to what I just want to kind of back something Cinder was saying about the relationship between WotC and Stream Elements, and this is coming from, you know, being involved in esports, watching a lot of esports, because I know I watch a lot of StarCraft, I watch a lot of DreamHack, I watch a lot of LOL. I know Vera watches a lot of esports too. So you know that those relationships are more fragile than a lot of people believe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use like the example of DreamHack, and you would think
Yep.
that, oh, Blizzard doesn't need DreamHack. They don't need DreamHack, so they're not going to piss them off.
Right.
No, absolutely, it's not that. How many of these large esport organizations do you think exist? There's not
Right.
many.
I
And
know.
if WotC burns their bridges with one, the other ones are going to be wary of them, and two,
Right.
how many do they have to go to, right? Because I know DreamHack does do Hearthstone, and DreamHack is going to be picking up Arena. So, but again, there's not that many. There's just not that many. And I have known of situations in StarCraft. I'm not going to go through them, but there's been situations where things have come up in Korea, and Korea has the biggest StarCraft leagues. The GSL, the ASL, the KSL, those are all giant StarCraft 1 and 2 leagues out of Korea, where things have happened in those leagues. And those leagues have gone back to Blizzard and said, no, you have to also ban this player out of the World League. Because someone will get banned out of the GSL. There was a whole match fixing thing a couple years ago where a player got banned out of GSL. The player's handle was Life, and he was like actually running this whole match fixing ring in the GSL for StarCraft 2. And he got banned out of the GSL. He didn't initially get banned out of Blizzard, but the GSL, even though it's just an esport league, you know, Blizzard didn't want to burn their bridges there, and they banned everyone. They banned everyone. None of those players will ever play in a StarCraft 1 or 2 league in the rest of their life. My point is that the relationship between these companies and these very large esport companies is fragile. And even though the company that owns the game might be much larger and have way more money than the company that's doing the esports stuff, there aren't a lot of companies doing this stuff that can do it to the capability of these esport companies. So they listen. They will bend. They will bend when one of these companies says, "You want us to do your league? Then you're going to do this." That's just kind of how it goes in esports.
Right. Interesting. Bad Boy Roy, what do you think about the situation? Do you think that we should always allow, you know, NSFW content creators to put magic cards over their breasts? I mean,
Well,
I don't think that there's necessarily a problem with that.
To each their own, I feel. I mean, right? And I mean, if they get offended by it, I mean, who gives a shit?
Do you think that Wizards of the Coast should have removed her from the program?
Oh, no. They should have at least, you know, like people were saying in chat, should have gotten a hold of her and been like, hey, take that shit down, and then warn her about it. And then if she didn't take it down or what have you, then be like, all right, well, we gave you a shot. Now you just shot yourself in the foot. But just kind of pulling the rug out from under her feet, so to speak, was kind of some BS, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any other thoughts on this topic from
I
anyone?
do have one,
Yes.
and it's very, very quick to the point.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat said, like, it cost her thousands of dollars. I beg to differ. I think, number one, it's going to be drawing more attention to her, and she's going to get more people on the old Patron to get some dollar signs in her account. And, I think, if anything, it's just going to help her more so than anything long term. And she just gets to show her boobies. I mean, hey, more power to you. I wish I could make money showing off my boobies, but I can't.
Yeah,
Well,
you just
maybe
don't
you
wanna-
could. I'm sure
You
there's someone
could
out there.
try. You could try.
You just gotta find the right audience, my friend.
I suppose there is an audience for just about everything, right?
There
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I'll put $1 in so all of you guys here can see. We'll be your first supporters.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, there you
We'll be
see.
the first-
Yes,
See,
yes,
there
Bad
you
Boy
go.
Roy, just a tip. Just a tip.
Oh no. Okay, maybe not that.
Cinder had
Oh.
said that about the fact that this is going to make her more popular, and I totally agree.
I do
Something
agree.
Like something like this is going to make her more popular. I think this is going to give her a good bump. And the creative program, good.
Press in chat.
And the creator program is the creator program. She doesn't need it. She doesn't need it. But hey,
No, she
maybe
doesn't.
she'll learn a lesson. This is an SJW who got eaten by SJWs.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Yeah.
that's what went down
Well-
with this, because she was an SJW and she got eaten by SJWs.
Does this qualify as a hashtag reset the clock? Or hashtag me next?
I suppose I don't know.
Both, right?
$100 and Bad Boy Roy will whip off his shirt. $100 right here. $100.
Do it.
Oh,
Anyway,
every
that's
butthole
way
in
off
real
topic.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But I mean,
No, I don't think anybody wants to see that besides the lady upstairs above me here. And
I mean,
think-
she probably wouldn't be opposed to getting a nice,
well, no, she'd probably be like,
Split.
boy, you better rip that damn shirt off and show off
Yeah,
them
yeah.
nips.
yeah.
Bringing that dough, you know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. Cinder had sent me an article or a Reddit post, which I do want to read really quickly.
I read it.
Because as I'm sure you all know, like a big Me Too movement has been happening in gaming, and it has hit, Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards of the Coast has over the past couple of weeks fired quite a few artists and cut ties from artists for multiple reasons, but Noah Bradley was one of them. And Wizards of the Coast, there's a post on Reddit, and I will put it in chat. Since Wizards of the Coast cut ties with Noah Bradley, you can ask support to refund your Song of Creation sleeves. So basically, he had a set of sleeves on Arena that were one of his artworks. But if you message us, the support team, you actually can get a refund for that. Now, I thought that Wizards of the Coast initially said that his arts weren't going to be shamed, basically. Like, they exist. They're going to be in sets, but, like, they're not going to reprint them anymore. So I feel like this is them
They
basically
did.
just another version of, like, shaming him.
They did.
You honestly thought Wizards of the Coast, the company of publicly shaming everybody, wasn't going to
Right.
publicly shame someone?
Right, I suppose.
they
The
suppose.
funny thing with those sleeves is you had to get the mastery pass to get those sleeves.
Right, right.
They're gonna refund the mastery pass?
Nope, just
No, that's
1,200.
about half the price. That's about half the price of a master.
No, all or nothing, man. All or nothing. You know what? I think there's gonna be a day where everybody just uses those sleeves on Arena and plays with them. Or are they saying you can't even use the sleeves now too?
Well, you
I
can
no,
still
that's
use
right.
them,
Yeah,
but if
you
you
can
don't
still
want
use
them
them.
in your account anymore, apparently
Yeah,
they're refunded.
So what you're saying is people are going to be out there trolling now with these sleeves, specifically targeting predominant SJW streamers to get in matches with them and use these sleeves.
Could be.
right.
Could
I'm just
be.
saying. I mean, they get what they give, and they're going to get a lot.
Could be.
You know, the only thing that's creepy in arena right now that creeps the hell out of me is the Jace puppet.
The what?
Oh yeah, Jace puppet is creepy.
The
Totally
Jace
Oh,
puppet.
yeah.
The wooden Jace puppet. That thing is creepy.
Yeah. That one, that's a no from me. That's
fun.
a big no from me.
You guys want to get to the biggest of the topics here?
Yeah, I
Um,
suppose it's time to talk about probably the largest topic of the night, which I think that most people are going to be
Hammock?
here for. And that is Dungeons and Dragons. Now, in our last episode of Titan's Table 2 weeks ago, we had talked about Dungeons and Dragons going woke. But they have decided to just go even further and get even woker. So a new disclaimer is being added to old Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons products. It says, we recognize that some of the legacy content available on this website does not reflect the values of the Dungeons and Dragons franchise today. Some older content may reflect ethnic, racial, and gender prejudice that were commonplace in American society at the time. These depictions were wrong then and are wrong today. This content is presented as it was originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. D&D teaches that diversity is a strength, and we strive to make our D&D products as welcoming and inclusive as possible. This part of our work will never end. So they are basically putting that disclaimer on old Dungeons and Dragons product. Cinder, why don't you start and give us your opinions on this? Because I do know that you had talked about it on Twitter.
Yep.
You had posted this on Twitter.
This
Wow.
is straight up pandering beyond any point that they should have ever gotten to with Dungeons and Dragons products. If they've got to come down to these disclaimers, you're playing your games wrong. It's a fantasy realm, and this is splitting the line between fantasy and reality. You are making D&D reality. That's not the point of the game.
Have you ever seen an SJW play D&D?
God,
I heard that.
what?
No,
Someone giggled. Someone joked on it.
Got him. Anyway.
it's like, are you telling me now because I own these books, I'm a racist?
Yes.
Right? That's exactly what this disclaimer is announcing to the world now. And it's beyond, like, it's a fantasy game. Let's keep our fantasy a game and not cross over into reality. And that's where they've gone with this. And it needs to, like, the line needs to be drawn somewhere. And it's been completely blurred and rubbed out.
Well, I do know that they are getting quite a lot of backlash just because of their decisions over the past few weeks, especially with Dungeons and Dragons. I feel like Magic the Gathering usually slips under the radar, but for some reason, Dungeons and Dragons, everyone has been on top of just of
Because of
ramming
its
basically
ramifications for
on
video
Wizards of
games.
the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's because of its ramifications with video games.
Right.
No,
But
honestly, it's deeper than that. It's ramifications with the evangelical Christians, and they're finally getting their way.
Well, it is that, but but if you look at what Twitter, a lot of people are talking about on Twitter, it's because of how the influence that Dungeons and Dragons has had on movies and television and video games. But let's get into specifics, because I know, Cinder, you've been kind of looking into this somewhat too. What are they specifically talking about? Okay, one, I'll start off by saying, like, part of the conversation we had last week was that all of this stuff is based on Tolkien. So
Yes.
if you go back
Yeah.
and you look at a lot of this stuff that they're talking about, not all of it, but a lot of the Tolkien-based stuff that they're saying they're going to put disclaimers on, that if they haven't, they probably will. None of it is actually racist, because they're actually looking at it all completely the wrong way. None of it is actually racist. But where they first started with the disclaimers, and they moved from there, Cinder, right? It was with the Oriental Adventure stuff. So
Yes.
I've been playing D&D since the 80s, since the early 80s, right? And back in the early 80s, during first edition AD&D, they had a book called Oriental Adventures, which they then had, in second edition, they had a setting. I think it was part of the Forgotten Realms setting, which is what most of the video games are
Legend of
based
the Five
on.
Rings.
Right.
Legend of the okay, right. The setting was called Character, was something along those lines. And that was second edition. And then in third edition, which was early 2000s, they had another book called Oriental Adventures. And these books basically were rules for a world that revolved around not Athenian or Western Europe mythology, but Japanese culture and Chinese culture. You know,
And
they
feudal
had classes.
Japan and
Feudal Japan.
everything like that.
And India was included in Oriental Adventures. It was literally of Eastern descent. They used to-
Right. There was I forget exactly what was in it, but like character classes. Let's talk about the first edition book, right? Character classes were like ninja, samurai, things along those lines. Certain different types of monks that were based on different monks that were in China and Japan, and now partly because these books are called Oriental Adventures, they are basically putting a disclaimer. It started with this. It's moved beyond this now.
Yep.
But it started with the disclaimers on the Oriental Adventure stuff.
Yep.
And they're basically saying that they start by saying the word Oriental is racist. Now, I understand that the word Oriental has dropped out of favor, and it is sort of an old word that we don't use as much anymore. But it's not necessarily a racist word. There's a lot of stuff out there talking about the word Oriental. But these books were never meant or presented anything that was ever racist towards Asian culture. They were never disrespectful to Asian culture. Even the first ed book in the 1980s. It does nothing more than what the books that are based on Tolkien and kind of Western, British, European mythology is based on. It does nothing more than those books do, right? But now suddenly it's all racist. It's all racist suddenly. Cindy, where did they go from there? Because I know that they've put it on more, right?
50 years ago when D&D was created, like no one's thinking 50 years later where people are going to lose their absolute mind on terminology of today. And that's part of what's going on here is people are rising up saying we can't have these terms because they are racist, they create stereotypes and all this other stuff, and that's not the idea behind it. It is something that was based off history, turned into a fantasy world, and gone from there. And if you're going to erase all that history, you're going to erase where we all have come from, and you're going to erase the building up and the growth that everyone has done.
Right. You can't erase the past.
Right. And you can in many ways. So Disney. So what I'm trying to say here is WotC is trying to do what Disney has had to do.
Yes.
Okay? So
Exactly.
you have things like Song of the South, which is the Disney movie from the 1940s, which even when it came out, people called it problematic, and it was a movie that kind of tried to, in some ways, say that slavery was normal and all that. And
Can
so,
I interject on Song of the South and say that was one of my favorite movies as a child growing up?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah,
How
no.
would you have known? And really, there's the movie is actually pretty benign. I recently watched it. It's pretty benign. It's a guy. It's a guy who's taking care of some kids, skipping around singing "Zippity Doo Dah." You know, that's
And
really
it got
all it is.
banned when I was like 6 in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
zippity fucking doodah.
Yeah, Zippity Doo Dah. It was taken off the market in the '80s and all that. And I understand why Disney wants to put a disclaimer on that movie, and they for sure should put it back on Disney. In my opinion, they should put it back on Disney Plus. And I have no problem with them adding the disclaimer. That's fine. Put it back on Disney Plus. It shouldn't be erased like they're trying to do now. Just like HBO Max is going to put back. Oh God, what was the movie HBO Max just took off?
Gone with the
Oh my
Wind?
God. Yeah, Gone with the Wind. Right. Sorry, can't believe I forgot that. Just like how they took off Gone with the Wind, it should have never even gone off. It should just, if they want to put some stupid disclaimer on it, okay. But Wizards of the Coast, they're trying to act like Disney. They're trying to do what Disney's doing. But they're doing it to things that are not racist, that have no that have no racist terminology in them.
Right.
Nothing in D&D uses racist terminology.
They're
There's
reworking what racism is, and I mean, hello. I mean, Disney, the company founded by a anti-Semite. I mean, everything Disney is racist if you want to go that route.
You look hard enough, you'll find it everywhere, and that's
Yeah.
You
that's
have
the
no
problem.
choice. I mean, by their
They're
definition,
turning over all these stones and going, well, that's racist. That's racist. We can't have that. We can't have this. Like, where does this end?
Right.
And,
Well-
and with D&D, right, with Tolkien, because all of this is based on Tolkien, right?
Yeah.
So by putting a disclaimer on the stuff, not the Oriental Venture stuff, which again, that stuff isn't racist either, because none of it's disrespectful. It's about appreciating, a fantasy world that exists in Asian cultures,
Yep.
But by saying that orcs represent this and elves and dwarves represent that, and the stupid argument of biological determinism because different races have pluses and minuses to ability scores. I
Not
mean,
even different races, it's different species.
Right.
yeah, different species.
I'm sure a freaking jaguar is faster than me.
Tolkien, you're basically saying Tolkien was racist, and nothing. Everyone who has ever studied Tolkien has never found him to be racist in any way.
I mean, it's like
You're
the debate
basically
with
saying
H.P.
racist.
Lovecraft. It's like the debate with H.P. Lovecraft. Was he racist? Was he this and was he that? It's...
That's a tough one too, because it's just how you look at it. I'm a huge fan of Joseph Campbell. I'm going to say it now. I'm a huge fan of Joseph Campbell. He was a very, very famous, very, very brilliant symbologist, mythologist, literature expert, and he's being called a racist. Not a racist. I'm sorry. He's being called a misogynist today, because he studied ancient and believed in ancient stories that most of those heroic stories revolved around heroes that were men. But now, because this is what he pushes as the hero's journey, he's the one that is credited for at least defining today what we know as the hero's journey, right? And
Right.
people call him a misogynist. They're trying to rebrand everything he did. They call him an anti-Semite all the time. And coming from me,
Not
who is a
Disney.
Jew, look, he just wanted to. Joseph Campbell just wanted to. I'm sorry, Joseph Campbell did not believe in the way that organized Judeo-Christianity functioned. He was more of a person who followed Eastern religions, and so he never said anything good. He didn't say anything bad specifically about Judaism. He just criticized how Western religions were structured, and because of that, he's an anti-Semite. I mean, I think it's all ridiculous, but I'm only bringing that up because it comes back to relabeling, reimagining, and projecting, and that's what is happening right now with Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
I'll leave it to someone else. That's my rant.
Who?
It's more like a filibuster, my friend.
Yeah. How do you feel about it, Bad Boy Roy?
Oh shit. Well, again, I know I've said it a million times. I feel like I'm about to beat a dead horse, but I know not everybody sees all the streams. But number one, they just gotta quit with this everything's racist shit. I laugh because it's so fucking stupid. I just can't take it anymore. Like, all right, now, oh, Oriental, you're racist. Okay, well, we'll call them Asians. Well, that's racist. Well, what the fuck do you want me to call them? Like, it's gonna be one thing, and then, again, it's gonna go right back to what I said before. We're gonna be calling them beings. That's what it's gonna be. It's
Right.
ridiculous. You can't call anybody from whatever heritage they came from, because God forbid you do, because then you're racist. And then if you're a man and you're like, oh hey, this other male person inspired me for whatever in life. Well, now you're a misogynistic piece of shit.
Yep.
What do you want me to do? Just like hate men and not, address anybody like, oh, they're from this descent. I don't know. I can't say where they're from, because if I do, shit, the lynch mob's coming after me because I'm racist now. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And again, it's a fucking game. Can we just leave it at that? It's a game.
It is a game indeed.
it's so
You know what?
just mind blowing to me that these
What other
freaking people
thought
just
that I
eat
see
this
on
shit
Twitter?
up like it is just. It just drives me nuts. And the people that actually, really get behind it, they should get all psych evals on their brains because I swear these motherfuckers are nuts.
It's the Jerry Springer generation. This is what we get.
True.
Ugh.
And another thing that's claimed is, so let's say, another thing that's claimed is not racism per se, but now we're going to start seeing the whole cultural appropriation arguments really start to gain steam again. And what I mean by that, it's like if you're a beautiful Caucasian woman and you decide that to a party, I'm going to wear a beautiful Chinese traditional dress, because there are, I mean, some of these like traditional Chinese dresses that I've seen. I spent a lot of time over in Asia. I worked in Taiwan for a couple of years. Some of these very like traditional clothing is very beautiful, ornate, and if you're white and you wear it, oh no, it's cultural appropriation.
I've
Or
seen a
if
lot
you-
of that on Twitter with
It's
like
like-
cosplayers saying, "Oh, I spent a lot of time, traveling in Asia for, because of my hobbies and just because of I enjoy it there." And they would get clothing like that, like traditional, like dresses and whatnot, and they'd bring them back and like they'd wear them in a picture, and people would be so outraged by them, like, why would you do this? Like, this isn't okay. This isn't right. That clothing isn't for you. Like those type of things. I
wear
see
away.
wearing clothing like that as appreciation. I'm appreciating this culture. I'm appreciating this clothing. I'm appreciating these creations. Not this is wrong. This is only for a certain type of person.
I've got to chime in on this. This is actually kind of interesting considering my
Yeah.
age. In the
Yeah.
1990s, the far right would say, learn your own culture before you learn someone else's. And now the far left is taking it full circle and says that's cultural appropriation. You shouldn't be learning somebody else's culture. Which one is it? Is this ideology wrong, or is it right only to certain people? They are sounding more and more like what they proclaim to hate every single day.
Right?
full circle. The reason why I bring up cultural appropriation is, well, one, we kind of touched on it in our conversation here,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's about writers and who's writing what, and this is something that I've seen as far as rumblings go in some of the Facebook groups I'm in, where they're talking about who's getting hired to do what at WotC, and WotC is now saying that, like, if they're going to write an adventure for Dungeons and Dragons that has a Asian setting, a Chinese setting, or a Japanese setting, they want an Asian writer, basically.
Right.
You know, that you can't be right. You can't be white anymore and
I have a
write
question.
about another culture, and
What
that's
if-
what it goes to say.
What
Right.
if the Asian grew up in the United States and the white person grew up in China? Who's more knowledgeable about the Chinese heritage? The person that never grew up and lived it, or the person who lived there and knew it?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's
There
a
you
good
go.
point. And
Find
you
the
know
most
what?
qualified person to write on a topic. Find the most qualified person. Don't pick person by the skin color.
Qualifications? Ew, what are those?
No. Hear me out.
Ugh.
Because now you're going to end up with somebody writing a hate article about how much they hate Wizards of the Coast because they felt like a token person working within their company.
Well, those
Yeah,
articles
there's
are
that
being
too.
writy, actually.
Oh wait, it's already happened, hasn't it?
Yep, it's
Yep.
already happened like last week. There was an article
So-
like that. Anyway,
Yeah, there was. And Tardis says in chat, he's talking about Kamigawa. Were we ever going to see a return to Kamigawa? Probably not, because
No,
Wizards
never.
is too
We
afraid.
We won't because of the backlash that's happened today.
Because you're
Right.
racist.
We're
Over the
gonna
last
see-
year now.
What we're going to see now with the infection that has such deep roots and the cancer that is in Wizards of the Coast right now is that we are going to see bland, cookie cutter, devoid of features, very not even hand drawn art anymore, just straight up cookie cutter, imagineless art sets from now until the end of time. In fact, find yourself a really good custom artist that you like that'll do commissions for you, and sit there and get them on retainer now, because you're going to be having every card altered from this point forward.
Yep.
So, one more thing to touch on. We're actually, where I am here in the world, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, and we're actually dealing with this cultural appropriation problem, per se, with one of our sports teams. We have the Edmonton Eskimos.
Yes.
And 3 to 4 years ago, they actually did the research, reached out to the community that the Eskimos were named after originally, and they came back and said there is no problem with the name. You're actually doing more of an honor to hold that name.
Happened with the Redskins in the United
And the
States.
Redskins
Get
too.
your
The
Redskin
Blackhawks
face masks
also
while you still
in
can.
hockey.
The Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going on everywhere right now.
Yep.
And it's really unfortunate to see this. To top it all off, the Edmonton Eskimos, when they first were created, were publicly owned, and the name was voted on.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And there is a 10% version of people, and that is the minority that is sitting there rising up, saying all of this stuff on Twitter, Facebook, everything like that, for the Eskimos, for D&D, for Magic the Gathering, for everything. It's a 10% of a base that are grouping together and saying, you need to change this, you're doing things all wrong, and that 10% is ruining it for the rest of the people in the world.
Right. Asfara? Yeah.
Why is it that this progressive movement is continuously targeting and getting POC titles, names, and everything else removed from the culture? Why is it that they're only targeting that?
Right.
That's
I
the
mean,
question
shouldn't
to
the
ask
Pillsbury
yourself.
Doughboy be rebranded, removed?
Of
Get
course
rid of
not,
him.
white. But oh
He's
wow,
a
that's
white
so
fat
rough.
ass. Get rid of
Yeah,
him.
they're gonna clip that out of context. No, but seriously, we lost Aunt Jemima. The family's pissed off about it. You know, there goes their royalty check. Uncle Ben's, go to hell, man. You're the wrong color for our box of white rice. Freaking the Washington Redskins, you gotta change your name because the word Redskin is offensive. Really? Have you touched out to any of the natives in the region and actually asked them, do they find it offensive, or do they like the idea of having a team that reminds people of the fact of where this country originally came from? And then there's not to mention the whole fact that the whole West SCOTUS has just ruled against the whole western half of Oklahoma, giving it back to the native Indians there. That, including Tulsa, who just got flung into it. I mean, it's like, where are we? Can we just unite? Seriously.
Right.
Stop with the freaking cancel culture. Stop with saying everything's racist. It's funny that this one group of people see racism everywhere where no one else sees it. Why is it only this one group of people?
Because they're so
Super
smart,
progressive.
man. They need to show you the light. Because
They're
you're
constantly talking about dog whistles. Why is it that they're the only ones to freaking hear them? Seriously.
I just worry about, you know, like Cinder kept saying over and over about how this is all fantasy. This isn't real. There isn't racism in there. There isn't. Now we have to have specific writers writing specific things. You know, like the stuff with the voice acting going on right now. Right. That's another symptom of it. You know, now you can't even voice a character that you're not. Right. That you don't resemble in real life. So what does that mean, though? Who voices the animals? Who voices I can't even say the word.
The fucking squirrels. Why would you ask such an offensive question? A squirrel voices a squirrel. Duh.
Who's voicing Brian?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a white dog, so it's got to be a white man, right?
Well,
it's
black
dog.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying here. So you can't even voice something that you're not. I mean, cartoons and animations are all pretend. Now we're not going to be allowed to have writers write characters that are not who they are, that are not the same race as them. Like,
right.
We're just going to be, our fantasy is ruined. We're not going to have anything that's fun to watch. We're not going to have anything that's entertaining anymore.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they're going to need 7 different writers for the next Star Wars movie because they're going to say, well, we got an Asian character, we got a white character. Hell, let's throw in a Jewish character. Let's just throw them all in, right? You
Right.
know,
Hey,
what's next? You know, Spaceballs is going to be the next movie that they say is racist. Spaceballs is racist.
I just want to say, Christopher in chat, who will voice the plant in Batwoman's van. Oh no.
Oh no! That's terrible.
Oh no.
You guys all heard about the
You
new
got
Batwoman,
me.
right?
I am
Okay.
Groot.
I'm here.
Okay.
I am.
You're gonna have to
cringe.
let them all in on the joke, I guess.
I am cringe.
Varadark.exe has just completely stopped working. That got me. Anyway, had to read that comment.
Absolutely. Who's gonna voice anyone? It's like, well, you know, you have all of these cartoons, you have all these animations where
Oh, looks like we're stuck with 2 actors now, just Nicolas Cage and Robert De Niro.
you
Okay.
can make fun of Nicolas Cage, but let me tell you something. Color Out of Space, the
Oh,
movie
that was
he
really
did,
good.
the H.P. Lovecraft movie that came out this year, is an incredible.
Dude, I've
fucking
been
movie.
following Nicolas Cage since Kiss the Girl. I mean, not Kiss. What was it? Raising Arizona.
He-
So
He was great in that movie. Have you seen Color Out of Space? That
Not
is
yet.
such a
Ooh, fantastic.
It's fantastic. It is an H.P. Lovecraft story, just modernized a little bit, and he was great in it. You know, H.P. Lovecraft. There she goes. She's got the book.
The
Color Out of
complete
Space is in
fiction.
that
It
book
is
I
in
read.
here, and it is
Is that
really
all
good.
Is that all the stories?
Yes, that is the complete
Yeah,
fiction.
So Color Out of Space would be in that story.
Oh yeah.
In that book, which is, you know, it's crazy. My question is about the voice actors. I just want to throw this out there, and I know this is not Dungeons and Dragons per se, what we were talking about, but let's talk about anime, right?
Oh
what,
yeah.
What race are anime characters? So if they want to start saying that, you know, there's black people in South Park, there's Asian people in Family Guy, okay, I get it, but what are the races of people that we have in anime? In anime, I can tell you what the race of the characters is. It's anime, right? They're not racial. Anime is not racially driven. The characters are
So for which anime? We talking Japanese anime?
Well, I mean,
Because Japanese anime, the Japanese specifically say we're just drawing our animation the way we like it.
oh, anime stuff.
Well,
In
right.
the United States, they say the same thing. So
Take it-
I'm only
take it
saying that, like,
Take it to a different level and go with Ghost in the Shell, because that, I think, is
Yep.
the number one way to describe this right now.
great
Ghost in
anime.
the Shell,
Yep,
they get
love
the
it.
live action version with Scarlett Johansson as the main character, and there was backlash on that because she wasn't Japanese.
Right. I mean, I don't think
they
that.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
received a
Huge
lot of
backlash.
backlash.
I had friends telling me they're not
Oh,
going
right,
to see
the
the
live
movie
action.
because
Right.
she
Oh,
wasn't
I
she
watched
wasn't Japanese. I'm like, what are you guys
Yeah,
talking
oh,
about?
yeah.
She's an actress.
char-
That's what
the
they pay her
character-
to do.
Yes, I agree. I think if you are qualified for the job, you should have a fair chance at it. If you
Yep.
can voice a Caucasian woman, you should be able to try your hand and see if you can do the role. I don't think that it should just be based, oh, if this is a black character, it obviously needs a black voice actor. Yeah, okay, usually
All
most
this
of the
is-
time, I'm sure a black actor is going to be more, the voice is going to sound better for a black character, but I don't think that, you know, if you're a white person, you shouldn't get the role just because of your skin color.
First, you want more representation. Now you're putting people in a position where they're just going to erase your representation and say, "Fuck it, I want this actor, so I'm
Right.
going to tool this role specifically for this actor."
Right.
We're going to go back to where we were in the 70s and 80s of entire movies and roles being written for very specific actors, and there goes your diversity quota right out the window.
Right?
Pick one. You don't get a choice. You get one or the other. Do you want roles to be written in good quality, or do you want roles to be written for specific people?
Right?
Exactly. And as far
And
as
that's what's
in
going on
anime,
with, like Batwoman right now, right?
Right, it's going on the bat one. I just want to throw this one in. I know, Vera, I'm using this one because you used it as an example once, which is Code Geass. And I'm using
Yes.
it because in Code Geass, you have different fractions, right? You have the European, British Empire, you have the Japanese, you have the American coalition, you have the Chinese, and these are all different, basically, groups in the story, right? But how do they all look when they're drawn? An American, a Japanese, a European, and a Chinese character, all in Code Geass, all look exactly the same.
Yes, they do.
They have the same. They are the same race. They are human. They are only different by citizenship, by area of the world that they are from.
Yes.
Other than that, they literally all speak like the same language. They all look the same. They're the same. But you know, a British.
Go ahead. Sorry.
A British character and a Japanese character, they're the same in the cartoon, except for, oh, you're from Britain and you're from Japan. You know,
in the 80s,
that's not what they want anymore.
Japanese writers were asked, why do you draw your anime the way you do with the big eyes and everything else? They were like, what do you mean? That's us. We see ourselves like this. And it's like, but you're drawing yourself like XYZ. You're drawing yourself white. You're drawing yourself that. No, we're not. You're just seeing that because it's what you most associate yourself with.
Right.
So, take your pick.
So I hope D&D doesn't die.
It is.
Because
I hope
it's a shame.
not.
We all have our
Whatever
own
at this
book.
point. The older books are going to become collectible again.
Yeah.
What if prices for like first and second edition AD&D books? I
They
wonder
were
if those
already
would
very
skyrocket.
high. They were
already very
high.
Oh yeah.
That's why the Wizards. That's why the Wizards. Oh my God, Wizards. Oh my God, how long before Wizards of the Coast has to change its name because Wizard is the title of the head of the clan?
There's
Oh,
already
no.
petition open for that.
Oh God. The memes are real.
Yeah. It's just gonna be like the coast.
Delete wizard out of Lord of the Rings. Gandalf is no longer a wizard.
Right? He's just an old dude.
Actually, they called him a wizard, but he never really was a wizard if you stop and know the mythos of it. He's one of their gods.
Yeah,
Right.
the five, whatever.
Right.
One of them was it like Neurogin
The
or something like
five.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, always
But seriously,
always something.
I mean, they're revisionist history. That's what they are.
Right. Yeah. You are not wrong.
And
Darth Vader needs to be. Rez says Darth Vader needs to be revoiced. Yeah, exactly. Because
well, that's
Brother.
Anakin Skywalker was white.
Yeah, that's true.
So what racial appropriation or something along those lines? Anakin was
Right.
white. Darth Vader
Well,
should
no,
not
no. Well, because you know, the voice actor was black, so obviously it's okay. Because it's a black man voicing a white character, so it's okay. Don't worry about it, guys. There's more important things to worry about.
I have dealt with this my entire life. It sucks because I don't qualify for anything. I present as a white male. Have native royalty in my family. I have Swedish royalty in my family. I have black in my family, specifically in my gene pool. I'm the biggest mutt you'll ever meet, and guess what? It's whatever you present that matters, and that is the flaw in their whole mentality. It's
Yep.
whatever fits the narrative.
Yeah. Well, all right. I see that it is 8:21. Do we have any
Smash
final
that like.
thoughts about the topics we've discussed tonight?
I just
let that boy go first because I know he's got to
Yeah,
take off here.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, we should be done in just a moment, but
Well, as far as my final thoughts on what we were just discussing, I suppose I'll just say with the now I just done lost my train of thought. Just in general, I mean, they just need to, and people just need to lighten up as usual.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't even put into words. I was going on about it with the chat, but it's just, you can't keep rewriting stuff. It's fake. And then these people, like I said, they're creating racism and then they act as if they are against it. And it's just complete bullshit. and you can't tell them that though. I mean, but whatever.
Right.
But that's basically it for what I have on this whole shitstorm of things we got going on here.
Yeah. All right. Grim, what are your final thoughts on everything that we've discussed tonight?
Well, I mean, the most important topic for me is the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I feel bad for the stores. I do.
Yeah, definitely.
But look, it looks like digital is the way everything is going anyway. I mean, we know what's going on with video games. We know that PC games went digital a decade ago now. We know that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will probably be the last consoles that will have digital media for them.
You mean physical?
Physical. I'm sorry. Yes, that will have physical media for it. I'm sure we're going to see the same thing with the Switch. I'm sure the Switch will end out its life having no physical media.
Probably, yes.
That'll end its life. So, you see how much Hearthstone makes? Magic the Gathering is going to make $1 billion. If not this year and next year, it's going to come soon. It's going to be $1 billion game. It's damn close. I know the middle of last year, I think me and Cindy were looking at numbers. And like in 2018, I believe it already had hit $500 million. And that was close to the end of the year. I'm assuming it made more money in 2019. Let's say it made a couple $100 million more. So it's reasonable to think that with Arena, it's going to hit $1 billion. And most of that is going to be digital. And most of that was digital last year.
Right.
So I could imagine that out of $1 billion, 700 million of it is going to be digital. And that doesn't mean, $400 million paper is still a damn lot of money. So they're not going to drop paper. There's no way. But they're going to want to sell it out of the big box stores, just like if they keep saying that's what they want. They want to sell paper. They want to sell a lot of it. They will continue to do it. And they're going to push it out of the big box stores. With D&D, I just want to say there are things in entertainment, especially out of Disney and other movie companies as well, that do have things that do need a racist disclaimer. I'm not going to claim that that's not true. There are things that are definitely portray racism or slavery in a way that maybe they shouldn't today. But D&D isn't one of them, and Tolkien wasn't one of them. And let's find and actually tag the things that deserve to be tagged, and not go after the things that don't deserve to be tagged simply because we want a virtue signal. And that's what Wizards of the Coast is doing. There was nothing ever racist in Dungeons & Dragons. There was nothing ever racist in Tolkien. The book Oriental Adventures, even the first edition book, was not racist in any way. The term Oriental is not a racist term, even if it is falling out of favor, out of fashion, so to speak. And they just want to virtue signal. They just want to say, hey, look, Disney is doing something, even though Disney's also virtue signaling, by the way. Look at us, we're doing something too. So they're manufacturing racism in a game that isn't racist.
Right.
I hope it goes on and we can get past this. And D&D 6th edition doesn't have any of this crap in it.
It will. Asfaro, what are your final thoughts for the night?
My thoughts are that between woke culture and cancel culture, they are going to cannibalize themselves. They may be on track to make $1 billion, but are they making $1 billion from physical sales from actual players, or are they making $1 billion because they've stupidly convinced all the box stores to carry that product that won't sell and get stolen the majority of it?
Yep.
Right.
One of the big things right now talked about on Reddit is how people go into, and I freaking hate that company, but how people go into Walmarts and buy the wrapped packages, crack them open, and then take the cards out, slip in the commons, uncommons, take everything valuable out, bring them back and return them, or that's if they do the glue resale, or flat out take them back and say they're defective, that they were missing product inside. And this is happening all the time now. Like, you don't trust any product at a big box store, because chances are it is going to be manipulated, damaged, or stolen from.
Right.
Support your LGS. I've always been a fan of that. But even that being said, I mean, the whole woke narrative is how they're holier than thou because they say they're doing good things, but when you actually evaluate the arguments, every single one of the arguments is a racist argument. That certain people should have talking rights over other people because of the color of their skin. Invert that narrative to any other color other than POC, and you're racist. But just because you're using a POC narrative, it's not racist.
Right.
Racism is racism. And this woke culture is, I mean, they're using the algorithm. They've basically discovered that the algorithm is divisiveness sells. So they're trying to sell us hate in order to sell more product. It ain't gonna work. I say speak with your wallet. Stop supporting the stuff you don't like, and eventually these companies will realize that the people that actually spend money are tired of hearing it.
Fair enough. Cinder, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, I'm going to take a quote exactly from the Nunavut cabinet minister, Lauren Kazuske. I don't know if I said that right. And it's in relation with the Eskimos and all this other stuff, but it also goes with Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering and everything like that. His quote exactly is that anybody who thinks it's just an offense, just settle down, take a Valium, and don't be so sensitive.
I mean, wow.
I miss Valium.
Wow. Okay. My goodness.
I can't believe that came out of somebody from Canada. I mean,
I
how do I
know.
subscribe to this person? Please send me a
Those
link.
fucking moose people. Right?
Did you say they're moose fuckers?
No, I said they're moose people.
Oh, you said fucking moose people.
Yeah.
Not moose fuckers. My bad.
No, I didn't assume their preferences. I didn't do that. No,
Already done
no.
that one. I gotcha.
No, no.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you tried. You're trying to cancel me as Farah.
Farah, you were canceled the minute you came out as a redhead that doesn't believe in redhead politics.
True. All right, it is time for outro. Cinder, who are you? Where can we find you? And what do you do on the internet?
Oh,
yeah.
You know, man, we're good. We're wrapping up. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Some handles,
I
but
am Cinder Shadow Gaming. I try and stream as much as I can. I also make videos, mostly opinion pieces lately for videos. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 93, 94. I took an Exodus, came back, and now I play Arena, Minecraft, everything like that. And I've got my link in the chat. If you want to head over to my channel, check out the content. I'm pushing ever closer to 1,000 subs. If I can maybe make it one day, then my content can maybe be viewed more.
Yeah, definitely. Cinder did put his link in chat, so make sure and go subscribe there. Asfara, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Rob, aka Asfira. I'm a huge Minecraft player. I plan on getting my store back up and running once this pandemic is finally over. I have been in Magic since probably 2 months before its release in '93 when I was playing it with white pieces of paper written on things from Gen Con. I am definitely counter SJW. I can't stand it. It's PC culture from the 90s, and all it does is make people hate each other. So's Division. So that's who I am. I put my link to my channel in chat. It's kind of small right now, you know. I really am not doing much, but pretty soon I will be bringing out some streaming and gaming and some videos and clips. Hopefully within the next week or two, I'll start getting my first video up. Other than that, I am here for you guys to make fun of all you want. I've seen some really good memes on the channel, so when you catch the right photo, feel free to clip it, take it out of context, and roll with it.
There you go. Bad Boy Roy. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm just some random ass fool that somehow got drug into this mess with you fine folk. But you can find me on the Dark Titan Gaming channel. And I did put up the link. I'll just post it again, just that way everybody can get there. There you go. But currently I'm streaming on Sundays because due to my work schedule, currently that's my best day. So 5 p.m. Eastern Standard is about when I try to get on there. Right now, I'm trying to wrap up some Doom Eternal. That is, I know there's many a Doom game, so figured I'd say that. I will be uploading the Dungeons and Dragons video I was supposed to upload from last week's Times Table recap. That'll be coming up hopefully tomorrow. You can also obviously find me here. And then, like I told Drewby in the chat, I got an Instagram. I'm not too heavily involved in it just yet. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to put on there. I know Grim suggested some retro game collection stuff, so I'm definitely going to be posting up some of that good stuff as well.
He's also going to post shirtless photos for $100 each.
Yes.
Just putting it out there.
They're gonna
No, he's posting the Konami code for $100 a piece.
Yeah.
His shirt just happens to be off.
Exactly correct. And that's what I'll tell them. See, I'm shirtless. You just can't see.
Right.
But nonetheless, that is where you can find me, and I will try. When it comes to streaming, I'm an open book. I'll try to play whatever. I was gonna try doing some retro stuff here in the future because I absolutely love old school games. But I'm not gonna ramble too much more on that. But try to check it out. If you got any suggestions, hit me up. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. And then Grim Monolith, what do you do and where can we find you?
Well, I'm Grim Monolith. I really kind of do nothing, but no,
Wow. Okay.
I am the editor for Dark Titan Enterprises. I make sure these two fools over here actually get up content, and hopefully make sure it's good.
Right. I think their content's been pretty damn good. Yeah.
I hope we're doing a good job. But yeah, I make sure Vera gets up her videos, and I help monitor the Discord. I have a long history of being involved in Magic the Gathering, being a tournament organizer, professional tournament organizer, a store owner. I was involved in esports. So I have been involved in the gaming world for a long time. A lot of it while I was in school. I went to school for a long time. I'm an astronomer, so that's what I do in my day job. But through all of that, I did a lot of stuff in the esport and gaming community, and you can find me in the Discord for Dark Titan Enterprises. You can find me on these podcasts, and you can always get in contact with me through one of these fools as well.
Definitely. And of course, I upload here on Dark Titan Enterprises. I do talk in Discord in the supporter chat pretty often. And, I upload daily, stream 4 to 5 times a week. And I also do have a Patreon and other forms of social media like Twitter. It is all linked in the description of the live stream. But thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. Thank you to my hosts, and also thank you to chat for being here. And I will be streaming again tomorrow, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be playing Apex Legends with a couple of people, a couple of the moderators for Dark Titan, which will be very fun and exciting. But all right, make sure to join our Discord if you haven't already, and have a fantastic night, everyone.